morning. Welcome to Creative Living Fellowship pre-service meditation. I am Rhonda Emmerich, and I am a licensed practitioner with Creative Living Fellowship. We are so happy that you're here with us this morning to meditate before the service. Let's get ready for the meditation by getting comfortable in our seats. We can close our eyes and take a big, deep breath. And as we release that breath, we release all the tension that's in our bodies. We release all the thoughts and distractions that are in our minds about what it took to get here, what we're going to be doing later today, later this week, and just open our minds really, really wide. And one more deep breath. And releasing that breath. And we open our minds just a little bit wider and open our hearts really, really wide. And just see our hearts filling up with love, filling up with gratitude, filling up with joy. And another deep breath as we allow ourselves to feel the relaxation moving through our bodies, just from the very tops of our head. We feel that relaxation moving on down our bodies, all the way down to the very tips of our toes, just feeling ourselves becoming very relaxed and very present in this moment, releasing everything outside this moment, just letting it go. One more deep breath. And with that deep breath, we open our minds just a little bit wider, our hearts just a little bit wider, and feeling our consciousness expanding wider and wider as we rest in the silence. And with the sound of the chime, we gently bring our awareness back to this space, continuing with the love in our hearts as we send that love out across our planet. Thank you so much for joining us today. Our service will begin in just a few moments. Namaste.
Morning, and welcome to the Creative Living Fellowship online Sunday service. Please join us in our opening song, Use Me.
Use me, oh God, I stand for you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. I used to think God was the sun, God is the sun, but God's so much more than the earth or the stars or all of creation. God is creator, all in all, needing us to shine its light as me, as you. So use me, oh God, I stand for you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. All that I'm saying is, command my hands. What must they do? Command my life. It's here for you. God is the love that heals all creation. God is creator, makes all things new, and God needs us to shine its light as me, as you. So use me, oh God, I stand for you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. And God needs us to shine its light. God needs us to shine its light. God needs us to shine its light as me, as you. So use me, oh God, I stand for you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. Show me all that I must do. Show me all that I must do.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm the Reverend Dr. Sherry F. McCreary, the Senior Minister here at Creative Living Fellowship, and it is my pleasure to welcome you here. We are an independent religious science church, and we welcome all paths that lead to truth. Our deepest intention here is to be a community of love, of care, of connection that opens hearts, expands consciousness, and transforms lives. And we do that through the principles and practices of the science of mind. We have a practitioner who's holding the high watch for us today, and that's one of our practices here. And what that means is that practitioner Jeannie Sovereigns is sitting in meditation and prayerful contemplation, just holding a space for the perfect unfolding of this time that we spend together here this day. So thank you very much, Jeannie, for your service this morning. And I'd also like to thank Rhonda Emmerich, practitioner, who facilitated the beautiful pre-service meditation. That was very good. Thank you so much, Rhonda, for your service this morning also. We have our usual support team here this morning. I almost said the usual suspects here this morning. Support team are our Sunday service director, Nicole Jordan, and she and Deborah Covington serve as our AV team. And we also have practitioner Fran Peck, who is serving as our tech support. And of course, Reverend Jorge Suarez is always serving as support in the area that he can support us. We really appreciate our staff minister, Reverend Jorge. Thank you all for your service here today. It is really, really wonderful being here with you and knowing that we couldn't do this without you. So let's take a deep breath together as we just move on into this service this morning. Our musical inspiration today is favorite friend Orgena Rose. She's back with us, and she will be with us in just a little bit. We're really glad to have her back with her beautiful music, her beautiful voice, and she's very vivacious. So it's really great to have her here. Nicole's going to bring us the announcements this morning, as usual. And following the announcements, there will be a brief gong wash. And after the gong wash, there'll be a few moments of silence, and then practitioner Reverend Mary Jane Hyde will bring us a reading and our evocation. But right now, Nicole's going to bring us the announcements.
Good morning, Creative Living Fellowship. I'm so glad to be here as usual to bring you your Sunday announcements. Monday is a great Monday. I'm skipping ahead. Meditation is a great mindfulness practice that helps us to get comfortable with silence. And as we master that still, silent space, we open ourselves up to God. So join us for midday meditation to start or support your meditation practice. Midday meditation is at noon, Monday through Friday. We also hold a 20-minute pre-service meditation on Sundays at 9:35 a.m. You can join us for any of these meditations through our Facebook and YouTube live streams or in Zoom. Speaking of spiritual practices, join Reverend Jorge every Monday evening and dive deep into the heart of practicing science of mind principles. Say yes to this weekly invitation to apply Sunday messages and lessons to your day-to-day life. Using the practices of contemplation, prayer, and introspection, open up to see beyond your boundaries and self-interest and transform your consciousness. You can participate in Monday practice with Reverend Jorge through our Facebook and YouTube live streams at 6:30 p.m. And if you miss them, you can always go to Facebook and YouTube and find them again to practice throughout the week. Stay connected and supported with your CLF family and join Reverend Sherry every Tuesday as she hosts a Community Care Connection Zoom meeting at 6:30 p.m. This week, Reverend Sherry will be leading us in Life's Purpose Visioning. This is a powerful process that reveals more the more you do it. Visioning is a spiritual practice that aligns you to possibilities for your life that you beyond your imagination. Join us this Tuesday and open up, surrender, and catch God's vision for your life. We look forward to seeing you then. The Ernest Holmes book study is underway. They are currently reading Living Without Fear and meeting weekly on Saturdays to discuss, grow, and deepen in connection. The Ernest Holmes book study is a drop-in group, so grab your copy of Living Without Fear and read through the first half of the book, and then zoom in on Saturday from 10 a.m. to noon. Next Sunday, March 20th, is our annual membership meeting at 11:45 a.m. Active members We will be approving our meeting minutes from our February and October 2021 meetings and voting on bylaw changes. So please make every effort to be there next week. The bylaw changes and meeting minutes can be found in an email that was sent out to you on February 14th or in our weekly newsletter. Please review and come prepared to the meeting. This meeting will be conducted in Zoom, and if there are multiple members within your household, you will all need to log into Zoom separately. And if you're not an active member, you are more than welcome to join us and get an update on CLF. Remember, you can use your smartphone to text to give and make your contributions to CLF. Simply text the amount you would like to tithe to 602-610-1868. If it's your first time donating by text, you'll be sent a link to set up your account. And after that, it's as easy as texting the amount you'd like to tithe to 602-610-1868. And speaking of tithing, CLF is a tithing church, which means we tithe off of your tithes and donations. And we're always looking for more nonprofits to send our quarterly tithes to. So if you have a nonprofit you would like to nominate, please use the link found in the comments to submit your recommendation. Our Sunday prayer room is available to you after service today. Get your prayer power up with a practitioner by heading on over to Zoom after service. Prayer room participants are transferred into a breakout room for a private session with one of our licensed practitioners. And after service, we have Sunday fellowship too. So join us in Zoom and hang out, discuss the service or what's on your mind or heart, and get connected with your CLF family. If you're in Zoom with us now, all you need to do is stay in the Zoom meeting. And if you're not, then join us at the end of service. We really would love to see and connect with you. Links can be found in the comments or on our website under events, under our Facebook events, or in your weekly newsletter. Well, that's it for the announcements. It is now time to move on to your gong wash, followed by a moment of silence.
So our reading today is Let God Do It from the Living the Science of Mind by Ernest Holmes. Each of us is a fountain of life. There is a God pressure back of each one of us, a life force seeking outlet through our thoughts and acts. There are many fountains, many individuals, but only one God pressure back of it all. Let us personalize these fountains and give to each the power to block the flow of water through it. One fountain might say, well, I don't know whether there's water enough. I'm not quite certain that I am an outlet for the great ocean of water, or that I believe there is enough pressure to keep it flowing. Perhaps it will stop tomorrow. Another might say, I'm so confused and uncertain over everything. I don't know what's going to happen. And another fountain might be so filled with fear and distraught that it would block its own channel, while still another might get jealous of the other fountains and gradually come to hate them. If these mental attitudes of the fountains could actually stop the flow of water through them, would that not be about the way all of us are at times? We become so frustrated with our little thoughts and fears and doubts that it becomes impossible for us to let God flow through us with the joy of life. Our problem is not with God, who is the river of life, or the divine pressure that seeks to express itself through us. Our trouble is with ourselves. Each one of us is an inlet to the divine, but because we are individuals, we can inhibit its flow or even stop it. By opening up all the channels of faith and conviction and hope, however, we can increase its flow. Jesus said, "There is a fountain of life from which your life is drawn, and if you will unstop everything in your mind that congests this fountain, you will be whole." Let's take those words in. Beautiful words. Let's take those into prayer. Wow. And so it is this fountain. It is this pressure that is God. God is. God is love. God is peace, and God is harmony and joy. God is infinite intelligence, infinite flow, as this reading said. God is all that is good. It is health, wealth, joy, peace. That God energy is present. It is expressing in, through, and as me. And that same God energy, that same God presence is expressing in, through, and as each person here within the sound of my voice. There is one God, one energy, and each individual is an expression of that. What a beautiful, beautiful thing that is, that we are all individually expressing that in our own way. And so it is in this knowing that I speak my word, and I accept that the divine energy is flowing through each person here and each person around the planet in the highest and best way possible. That this infinite flow of life is fully expressed as we move and as we grasp, as we reach out, as we learn more about how to unblock that flow, as we take responsibility for how we do block our flow, as we come to understand that we can block that flow. We do that here through the message that Reverend Sherry is about to give us, through the music, through the camaraderie, through the connections that we make. we learn how we block that flow and how we can unblock it, more importantly. And so I accept that each person here, each person associated with Creative Living Fellowship is in that flow and is in that activity of unblocking more and more. Because as each person here does that, all people around the planet have the ability to do that. And as we do it, we make it more available to others. And we know, I can see from what's going on in the world that is necessary. And so I'm going to speak my word for what is happening in the world in Ukraine. And I accept that flow is unblocked for all the people associated between Russia and Ukraine, that the infinite knowledge is and intelligence is fully present. And I know that God is working through this. No matter what it looks like, God is there and is calling forth a greater good somehow, in some way. I accept that for Ukraine. I accept that for the people of Russia. And I accept that for all the people in Europe and around the planet. And so it is in all this knowing that I say thank you. I thank you, life. Thank you, God. Thank you for this presence as it is expressed through us and for the good that is coming forth. I say thank you, and I know that it is so. And so I just release my words. I let go, and I know that it is done. And together we say, and so it is. And so our musical inspiration today is Orgena Rose. Thank you.
Good morning, CLF. It is so good to be with you again, especially to share inspiration through music. And I'm especially happy to be sharing this message around getting out of the way. Thank you. Surrender to what is. Surrender to love. Surrender to being in the moment. Surrender to now. Let go and let God. Let go and love. Let go of trying to control. Let go and let God. Surrender to what is. Surrender
Thank you so much, favorite friend, Orgena Rose. What a beautiful, beautiful song. Let's just take a breath together as we just move into this part of our service. As you know, we have marched into March, and we now have a new theme. And that theme this month is giving and receiving. Giving and receiving is our theme for the month of March. And my topic for today is get out of the way. Get out of the way. Get out of the way. One thing I just want to acknowledge is that there's a time change. There's been a time change overnight. So not for those of us here in Arizona, but for some of you who are with us this morning, there's a time change. And that just goes to show what it really means that there's no time in God. Because time, this whole concept of time is so man-made. And it doesn't make sense that some states change time and some states don't change time, and people can't keep up with what time it is and all that. So there's no time and space in God. Thank God for that. That's the gift. That's one of the gifts that's already been given to us, that everything is in the now. Everything is happening right here and right now. And so let's just take a breath as we move into this space of right here and right now, talking about getting out of the way. You know, I talked last week about giving and receiving, and that the fact that it's a circle, it's a cycle that just happens over and over. You have to have one and then you have the other in order for the circle to be complete. Giving is an act of love, but so is receiving an act of love. And the circle must be complete by both of them happening. God is the gift and the giver. And I was inviting everyone to be the gift and the giver in your own life, in your own world. Just making your commitment to be the gift and the giver. And being open to receive just as we are open to give. Being open to receive just as we are open to give. And so today, what I'm I want to reinforce that by talking about getting out of the way of receiving, getting out of the way of giving, but getting out of the way particularly of receiving. Rachel Naomi Raymond, in her book, My Grandfather's Blessings, wrote that most people have been given more gifts than they have received. Most people, I'm sorry, she said blessings. Most people have been given more blessings than they have received. That's because our lives are so filled with so many other things that we don't have the time or the space or the attention to be open to receiving those blessings. And she just said, imagine that our blessings are circling around like airplanes at an airport trying to find a landing place, trying to find a spot to land, and they're stacked up looking for a space to land because there's no space for them. There's no room for them. And so that's what's happening with blessings that are in our own lives, that there's no place for them to land because we are so filled with so many other things. We are so blocked by so many other things that they're just circling. Imagine your blessings, imagine the gifts, imagine the gift that Spirit already is, just circling around, looking for a place to land. And we're like those fountains that the reading talked about that are just holding on, questioning, doubting, not believing, whatever the case may be, afraid, dealing with fear, all those things that would block the blessings. And we're just complaining and doing all the things that we do. And the blessings are just waiting there. The gifts are just waiting there. Because as I always said, God is the gift itself. God is the gift and the giver. And so God has already given of itself, has given us all things, everything. And all we need to do is open up to accept it, open up to receive it. And we do that by just getting out of the way. We do that by just getting out of the way. In whatever way that we are in the way, we need to get out of the way. That's where we need to be. We need to just get out of the way. And so what I'm inviting you to do today is first of all, take the blinders off and really see where is it in your life that you need to get out of the way? Where is it in your life that you're blocking the gifts that have already been given? Where is it in your life that you don't have space for, you don't have room for those gifts, those blessings that have already been made? Do a real serious assessment of that. Where is it that you're holding on? Where is it that you're allowing fear to rule the day? Where is it that you are allowing fear to keep you from even dreaming about what you'd like to have in your life? What kind of life you'd like to experience? Where is it that you're allowing control Because sometimes, in order to get out, we stay in the way because we want to control the situation, not knowing that we don't have control anyway, but we try. And so what I'm asking you is do a serious assessment, do a serious assessment, if you will, of where is it that you really need to get out of the way. Where is it that you really need to get out of the way? And then, this is something that you can add to your prayer work. Where is it that I need to get out of the way? When do I need to get out of the way? Well, when is not the question. When is always now. How do I need to get out of the way? Where do I need to get out of the way? How do I need to get out of the way? When do I need to get out of the way is right now. I need to get out of the way right now so that I can experience the allness and the fullness of life and the allness and the fullness of the gifts and the blessings that have been given, so that I can participate in this law of giving and receiving, so that I can live the life that I was created to live, so that I can be that inlet and that outlet for that divine circuit. Where is it that I can really just open up, to let go and let God? That's what it's really all about. Just open up, letting go and letting God. And so I think that in addition to looking at where I can let go, how I can let go, the question for us is, why am I not letting go? Why am I holding on to this? Why am I blocking myself from experiencing the allness and fullness of life? And am I willing? Am I ready to let it go? Am I willing? Am I ready to let go, to really experience the allness and the fullness of life? And so I think that these are questions that it's really time for us to ask ourselves, so that we can fully participate in life, so that we can live the life abundant that we were created to live, so that we can be those places and spaces through which God can express to the max. Imagine God expressing through the max in your life according to your own individuality. God is not going to express to the max in my life the same way God is going to express to the max in your life, but God is going to express to the max in each life according to our own individuality and according to our own openness. And we can only be open if we're willing to get ourselves out of the way. And so I'm inviting you today to really look at, where do I need to get out of the way? Where do I need to let go? Where do I need to really let the rubber meet the road? Where do I really need to just say, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready to have a different kind of life. I'm ready to experience all the things, because time is passing and things are happening so fast that it seems like everything has just sped up. And it seems like time is passing, time is moving, things are changing. We never know from one minute to the next. We never did, but we certainly don't. We are aware now that we never know from one minute to the next what life is bringing. And so why not live fully now? Why not experience all of life that we can experience now? Why not experience the gifts that have already been given to us now? And why not experience them to the max? Why not just let go of all that stuff that we would let hold us back? And so do an assessment of where, take the blinders off and say, you know what, I need to give up control. I need to give up complaining. I need to give up whining. I need to let go of my comfort zone. I need to do all of that and be willing to step up and step out, and so that God can step up and step out in my life as my life. This is where we want to be when we do this assessment, taking the blinders off. And then once we take the blinders off, the next thing we want to do is to create a space, create a landing space for these blessings. All these blessings that have been circling around, all the gifts that have been circling around, we want to create a landing space for them. We want to create a landing space. We want to be available so that we can see them, so that we can be aware that they're all around us, so that we can be open to them. And so just looking at doing that assessment of where I need to get out of the way. It may be, as I said, giving up control. It may be doing something different. It may be being consistent in what we say and what we do, in our actions and in our words, being consistent in our prayer work, being consistent in our prayer work, being consistent in our spiritual practice. All those things, being committed to our spiritual practice, all of these things are the kinds of things that really help us to be in a place where we can open up and we can let go, and we can really be anchored anchored in the presence of God. Because, once we start to get out of the way, we can only get out of the way to the degree that we can trust. To the degree that we can trust, and getting out of the way does take trust, because we think that we have to be in control. We think that we have to know what's going to happen. We think we have to know how it's going to happen and all that. So being willing to really take a deep breath, to step back and to say, you know what, I'm willing to release whatever is blocking. I'm willing to release whatever is blocking. I'm willing. Emerson says that we have to get our bloated nothingness out of the way of the divine circuit. And so being willing to let our bloated nothingness out of the way of the divine circuit, so that God can express fully and completely. And we do that through spiritual mind treatment. We do that through our prayer work, because in our spiritual mind treatment, what we are saying is that there's nothing in me that can block the divine. There's nothing in me to block the divine. And so doing our prayer work, doing our spiritual practice is what we do first and foremost to create that landing space. We create that space by constantly going to prayer, constantly going into that place of oneness, constantly going into that place of knowing that I am one with God, and there's nothing in me that can block the full expression of God in and through and as my life. And so I am willing, as Emerson said, to get my bloated nothingness out of the way, so that the allness and the fullness of God can express in me as me, in my life as my life. And so this is what we want to do, create that landing space. If you need to do forgiveness work, because we know that forgiveness is one of the biggies that holds us back. Unforgiveness, rather, is one of the biggies that holds us back. And so if it is a releasing or letting go of resentment, if it's a letting go of judgment, if it's a letting go of blame, if it's a letting go of guilt, if it's a letting go of shame, if it's a letting go of whatever it may be, whatever it is that's holding us back, whatever it is that we're holding against someone else or against ourselves, we have to let that go. And forgiveness is one of the big things. One of the big things that we hold on, that unforgiveness is one of the big things that we hold on to. And forgiveness is a huge thing that creates that landing space for us. It's a huge thing, creates a big space for us to allow God to express itself fully and completely. So I'm inviting you, if there's something that you're holding today, let it go. If there's something that you're holding, it's in the way, let it get out of the way, get it out of the way. Open up and just allow, be in that place of allowing, just allowing the allness and the fullness of God to express in and through and as our lives. And that's when we get into that whole process of giving and receiving. And as I said, the gifts have already been given. This is when we get into the second phase of it, of that receiving. When we are open and receptive and not blocking God and not blocking the actions of God, not blocking the gifts of God, then we're in that place of receiving, and the circle is complete. That giving and receiving is happening. That giving and receiving is happening. That law of circulation is flowing freely in and through and as our lives. That law of circulation is happening. And we are beginning to experience the kinds of lives that we want to have. We begin to experience the kind of life that we really, really, really want to have. So I'm inviting you to create that landing space. Create that landing space. Let it go, whatever it is that you're holding on to. You may be in a comfort zone. It's really comfortable sometimes, even and we get comfortable in the discomfort sometimes of what's known to us, what's familiar to us. Sometimes we stay in spaces and in situations that really don't serve us because it's comfortable, because it's known, because to change means something different. To change means having to go into the unknown. To change means having to live a different way, to have things look a different way, to have things show up a different way. And you know what? That's what has been happening for us really over the last 2 years. Things have shown up in a different way. We've had to live our lives in different ways. We've had to do things that we didn't know how to do. We've had to learn things we didn't know we didn't know we could even learn at this point. And you know what? There are some of us who are still resisting. There are some people who are still complaining about Zoom. There's some people who are still complaining about where they can't go and what they can't do and whatever the case may be. And, life keeps moving on. Life has moved on. It's been 2 years that we've been going through this pandemic. And if you are still holding on, complaining about it, still holding on, can't wait till it's over. We don't know when it's going to be over, but we do know what's happening right now. We do know that we can adjust and adapt to where we are right now. We do know that we can live fully and completely in our lives right here and right now, doing what is before us to do, doing what we are guided and directed to do, moving ourselves out of the way so that divine flow can come through, so that divine circuit, we are in alignment with that divine circuit, so that we receive the guidance as to what our next step should be. What is my next step? Where am I to go? What am I to do? All these things, the kinds of things that come up in our visioning questions. What am I to release? What must I embrace? All these things God is always showing us exactly what it is we need to do. Exactly what it is we need to do. So what we have to do is move into that place of trusting so that we can fully participate in the law of giving and receiving, so that we can fully participate in the law of giving and receiving and live the life abundant that we were created to live. And then the next thing I want to tell you to do and to remind you to do and to invite you to do is to hang out in the let go. Hang out in the let go. Hang out in the let go. That is really being in a place of allowing, really being in a place of opening up, really being in a place of releasing, really being in a place of not holding on to anything. Not holding on to anything. And that's really hanging out in the let go. It's the first cousin to living in the not know. And we go through that whole process of living in the not know, and then we hang out in the let go. And when we hang out in the let go, we really are in that place of trusting God, because we don't know what's going to happen next, but we know that whatever it is for our highest and best. And we know that whatever it is, we don't have to experience it alone. We know that whatever it is, that there's a space. When we hang out in the let go, we are creating a space. We're creating a space for the allness and the fullness of God to flow, for that divine flow, for that fountain of life that God is, as the reading describes, that God is the fountain of life and the river of life. We allow that river to flow through us when we can hang out in the let go. And we can let go in trust and let go in knowing that God has our back. Let go in knowing that God's got this. Let go in knowing that I'm guided and directed, and I can go any place from here, from where I am right now, because I have that constant companion who is guiding my every step, who is guiding my every step, who is guarding my every step, who's directing my every step, who knows my every step. And so when we can hang out in the let go, we can be in a place of trusting. We can be in a place of allowing. We can be in a place of knowing that all is well. We can be in a place of knowing that all is well. And as we are in that place, then we create a space for all the gifts of the Spirit to be expressed in and through and as our lives, for everything that we need to show up in our lives, for everything that we need and everything that we desire to show up in our lives, all those things that are our highest and best show up in our lives. We create a space for our own lights to shine, for our own lights to shine, but we can be the best that we can be. But we can be, as I said, all that we were created to be. And so I invite you to hang out in the let go, trust God, and be willing to hang out in the let go. Just letting go of fear, letting go of doubt, letting go of anxiety, letting go of worry, letting go of competition. We don't have to compete for our good. We don't have to compete for our good. The 11th commandment, thou shalt not compete. Thou shalt not compete. That's the 12th. Thou shalt not compete. Thou shalt not compare is the 11th commandment. Thou shalt not compete is the 12th. So thou shalt not compare, number 11, thou shalt not compete. So you know what? Comparing is another way of blocking our blessings. Comparing is another way because we are, well, I can't do this because she does it so much better, or I can't do it as well as he can, or somebody has already done this before, so I know that mine won't be quite as good. So I won't try to do whatever it is that I was thinking that maybe I could do in this life. You know, all those kinds of things that come up are just blocks to blessings. Those are the things that keep our blessings circling around like at the airport. And so when we're willing to hang out in the let go, we just let it all go and just know that God's got our back, know that God's got this, and that God knows exactly how to do whatever it is. And when we can hang out and let go, we begin to open up and to see where we're being nudged to do different things, where we're being nudged, where we're getting that little gentle nudge, that still small voice that is directing us to, oh, go over here. Oh, take that step. Oh, don't go over there. This is the way for you to go. And then different kinds of things start to show up in our lives just out of nowhere. And you begin to, when we are open and receptive and in the place of letting go, we are in a place where we begin to see where God's fingerprints are all over certain things. You know how some things happen and we call them coincidences? It's like, no, this is God's fingerprints are all over this. And when we recognize that, then we can trust and know that we're on the right path, that we're headed in the right direction. But that comes from hanging out in the let go. And when we are hanging out in the let go, we are trusting. We are trusting. We are trusting. And when we are trusting, look out, because God really does show up and show out in our lives. And so let's just take a breath, because as I'm talking about hanging out and let go, I'm so reminded of our favorite friend, Craig Haley. Craig Haley, our favorite friend, Musical Inspiration, longtime member of this community, made his transition this week. And we have sad hearts and hearts filled with love as we remember Craig, I'm sorry. And my mind is racing right now, because what I'm thinking of is that the first time I met Craig, several years ago when I first moved to Phoenix, I was speaking at another church, and my topic was hanging out in the let go. And Craig was a musical inspiration. And after that service, he wrote a song called Hanging Out in the Let Go. And the next time I saw him, well, it was over a year later, I was at CLF and I was speaking there, not as the senior minister, but as a guest speaker. And he came in to be our musical inspiration that day. And he sang Hanging Out in the Let Go. And he let me know that he had written that song after we served together at another church. And it meant so much to me that he wrote that song. And it was such a powerful song and such a meaningful song that every time I think of that phrase, hanging out in the let go, I think about Craig. And so this morning, hanging out in the let go comes up perfectly in Get Out of the Way. As I'm thinking of Craig this morning, and just allowing our community to just remember him this morning. I invite you to stay with us through the closing song today, because we are going to be closing out our service today with our closing song, honoring Craig and allowing him to share his beautiful music with us today. But I just wanted this community to know Craig was one who shared the gift. He was the gift and the giver. He gave us the gift of his music. He gave us the gift of his generosity of spirit. He gave us the gift of himself. He gave us the willingness to be available, to serve, to give, to share, always. And so that is a good memory to have of at this time of talking about giving and receiving, about being the gift and the giver, because we know that Craig was the gift. And he was the giver. His music was such a gift to all of us. And throughout the Valley this morning, churches that he served with his beautiful music will be playing his music at the end of the service today. We'll be honoring him at the end of the service today. So I just wanted us to know that this is what's happening in our community. We love him. We miss him. We bless him. We bless his wife, Chris. And we completely surround them both in love and in light. And we certainly appreciate all the gifts that he gave to this community and the way that he shared himself with this community. And so I'm just going to ask us now to just open our hearts and open our minds as we just move into prayer in this moment, just recognizing that, taking a breath, we're taking that breath in and we are receiving the gifts of the Spirit as we breathe in. We are receiving the gifts of the Spirit and recognizing that one power, that one presence, that one life, that one mind, that one breath, that one gift, that one activity that I choose to call God. That one that is my very life. That one is the life of each of us here this day. That one is that from which we can never be separate. That one is that within which we live and we move and we have our being. And it lives and it moves and it has its being in each one of us. That one is God. And it is from this place of union and unification with that one that I speak this word in this moment. Just speaking a word for all of us this day, just knowing that we are each whole, we are each perfect, we are each complete, just as we are. We are each unique emanations of the divine. And that God is right where each of us is right here and right now, guiding us, directing us, showing us the way. Every step of the way, whatever it is we need, all needs are met because God shows up as whatever it is we need. God shows up as health. God shows up as abundance. God shows up as prosperity. God shows up as healing, as a comforter. God shows up as whatever it is, whatever we may need at any given moment. God is showing up as that, and we just open our hearts to accept and to receive the gift that God is in our lives, the healing that is happening in our lives, and anything that would make us move into a place of having a sense of separation, anything like fear and doubt and anxiety and blame and shame and judgment and all that stuff. We just let that go. We let that go, and we open our hearts, we open our minds, we open our entire being to that healing presence of God that is in and through and as our lives right here and right now. This word goes out to the war-torn areas and places where there are wars and rumors of war in Ukraine and Russia and everywhere on this planet where there's war and unrest. This word goes out, for I know that God is in the midst of everything that is going on. God is in the midst of war. God is peace itself. And that there is peace happening. There is love happening everywhere, for God is love, and God is in the midst. Despite the appearance, we hold to the truth that we know. I hold to the truth that I know, that God is right in the midst of everything. Everything. This prayer goes out to our government officials, knowing that right decisions are being made, decisions that are being made for the highest and best of all concerned. And that there's harmony and there's union and unity. And there's a concern for the community everywhere. That there's peace and there's harmony and there's love and there's joy and there's light and all the gifts of the Spirit, all of the qualities of God are showing up everywhere. For God is everywhere present. And so I pause momentarily now so that you may speak the names of anyone you'd like held in prayer. You may speak their names silently, you may speak them aloud, but you may speak them now. And so for all those whose names were spoken here this day, I just know that God is right where each of them is, blessing and keeping them, and that all indeed is well. I speak a special word of blessing this morning for Craig Haley, just knowing that right where he is, God is blessing and keeping him, that he has shaken off the mortal coil and is moving on to his greater yet to be, moving into the light, and that his heart is filled with love and with joy. He is surrounded by the love of God. He is surrounded by the peace of God, and that peace is everywhere present, right where he is. So give such thanks for the blessing that he was in this life and that he continues to be wherever he goes, wherever he is. I speak a special word of blessing this morning for Chris Haley, Craig's beloved wife, just knowing that right where she is, God is blessing and keeping her, that she is filled with peace and she is filled with peace of mind, that she is completely surrounded by the love of God, completely indwelled by the love of God. And that every step that she takes, every step that she makes right here and right now, God is right with her, guiding her, directing her, comforting her, lifting her up into the light as she continues to release her beloved Craig. I completely surround the family, the Haley family, just knowing that right where each of them is, God is blessing and keeping them. And that there's peace and peace of mind and a releasing and a letting go of anything that would block the love and the peace and the comfort and the support that they supply for each other and that is coming to them from God itself. And so I just simply say thank you, Father, Mother God, for the word spoken here this day, as we as a community release Craig and surround Chris in love and harmony, in peace, in God. And I simply say, thank you, Father, Mother, God. Thank you, as I simply allow it to be. And so it is.
Thank you, Reverend Sherry, for those beautiful and very powerful and comforting words today. Yes, it's time for us to get out of the way and receive the blessings of God. And now is the time for us to participate in the divine law of giving and receiving by giving of our tithes and offerings. CLF is a tithing church, and therefore we invite you to participate in this sacred practice by tithing here at CLF. You can click on the donate link on our website or in the comments in Zoom or on Facebook. You can also use your smartphone to text to give. Whichever method you choose to give, we truly appreciate your continued financial support of CLF. And now let's repeat our offering blessing. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, all that I receive, and all that I circulate. Thank you, God, and so it is. And now let's welcome back Orgena Rose with another beautiful offering song.
Get out of the way. Get out of the way. It's already done. It's already yours. Get out of the way. Get out of the way. Get out of the way. It's already done. It's already yours. Get out of the way. Sometimes we make it so hard, trying and trying to do it all, when there's an easier way. Listen to these words I've got to say. Get out of the way. Get out of the way. It's already done. It's already yours. Get out of the way. Get out of the way. Get out of the way. It's already done. It's already yours. Get out of the way. Just get into the flow. Deep inside you already know. Release your worries and fears. The still small voice inside you hear. Get out of the way. Get out of the way. It's already done. It's already yours. Get out of the way. Get out of the way. Get out of the way. It's already done. It's already yours. Get out of the way. Ask, receive. It's yours. Ask, receive. It's yours. Ask, receive. It's yours. Get out of the way. Get out of the way. It's already done.
Wow, thank you so much, Orgena Rose. Beautiful, beautiful music, beautiful song. I think she wrote that song for today. So that's really great. We love it. We love it. We love it. Thank you so much. We are happy you were here with us, and we look forward to you coming back really, really soon. Let's take a deep breath as we just move into a few reminders that I have for us this morning. Don't forget that next Sunday is our membership meeting, community meeting, and it's at 11:45 after the Sunday service next week. So I invite you all to come out and join us for that, because if you're an active member, then we need you here to vote on some things that need to be voted on. And community members, we would love to have you here for updates and just to be a part of this community, to find out what's going on in the community as we move forward. Immediately after service today, we have the fellowship hour. So don't hesitate to stop in for that. And we talk some more about giving and receiving and what that really looks like, and getting out of the way is something that we will be looking at and talking about during that time. Also, after service today, the Zoom prayer room is open immediately after the service. And let me just remind you that the Zoom prayer that the practitioners offer is an opportunity to participate in the law of giving and receiving, because the practitioners are there to give prayer. And when you come in to get prayer, that's a way of giving back to them. That you give them an opportunity to receive the blessing of your presence, to obtain the gift that they are offering to you. So I invite you to participate in the law of giving and receiving by seeking out a practitioner for prayer. You can also seek them out by sending an email to them at prayer@creativelivingfellowship.com, or to call an on-call practitioner by getting the number of the comments on our website. Don't hesitate to reach out to a practitioner. Don't walk around with a heavy heart. And don't forget to use use the treatment for supply. And yes, use the treatment for supply after you go to Monday night practice with Reverend Jorge. And you can do it before you go also. And then after you go to Monday night practice with Reverend Jorge, the treatment for supply and Reverend Jorge go hand in hand. Reverend Jorge has Monday practice every week from 6:30 to 7. It is a wonderful, wonderful time to deepen in your spiritual practice. And of course, the Ernest Holmes book study is happening again. And we are reading Living Without Fear, which is really, really great, and a really, really way to open up and just create that space for our gifts to land, for our blessings to land. So the Ernest Holmes book study happens on Saturday mornings with Reverend Mary Jane High from 10 to 12 o'clock. It's a wonderful opportunity to dive into the writings of Ernest Holmes. Don't forget Tuesday practice with me on Tuesday evenings from 6:30 to 7:45. And that's connection time. This week we will be doing life's purpose visioning. So I invite you to come out and join us for that. Don't forget the treatment for supply that I was talking about earlier. Use it. It really works. And of course, reaching out to connect with each other. It's so important that we continue to stay connected. So text messages, phone calls, however you reach out to connect with each other, please continue to do that. It's really, really an important thing that we continue to do as a community. And so I invite you to take a deep breath now, because we're just going to move into our closing song. And today, Craig Haley is going to bring us our closing song, as I said before. And one other thing I want to say, Craig was an ordained minister, and he had a focus, his ministry was focused on animals and the people who love them. And he and Chris were co-chairs of the Department of Humane Religious Studies at Emerson Theological Institute. And they also facilitated the Animal Ministry Conference that was held here at CLF every year for several years. And so they were really big in this community here. So we really are going to miss Craig sorely. And we are honoring him today, as I said, throughout the Valley. And his generosity of spirit. One of the things he said was that he did not want a memorial service because he didn't want people to be sad. And so he was always still thinking of others and thinking of and wanted to give the gift of his music and give the gift of himself. And so we just avail ourselves of that gift right now as we allow Craig to close us out with our closing song. Take good care. I love you. God bless you. I'll see you next week.
look out upon my life, I see a crazy scene, with lessons learned from things I've done and places I have been. Some were up and some were down, and lots were in between. It's a crazy mixed up melody that keeps my life serene. Let's hang out and let go. Said it's a place we can all go. Let's jump right into that show. You know it's called the Let Go. Let's hang out and let go, 'cause it's a place we can all go. We jump right into that flow. You know it's called the Let Go, let go, let go. Said it's not as complicated as we can make it feel. Our thoughts can go and overflow by the size of our ordeal. See if thine own ego tries to get you to derail, just give all those woes the old heave-ho and stop weaving those wicked tales. Let's go, you ready? Let's hang out and let go. Said it's a place we can all go. We're jumping right into that show. You know it's called the Let Go. Said let's hang out and let go, 'cause it's a place we can all go. We're jumping right into that flow. You know it's called the Let Go, let go, let go. Life is really simple. You learn that here today. We control just how we feel and how we create our day. But if you're feeling down and out and the skies they're looking gray, just turn those clouds inside out and those blues say they'll blow away. Let's go. Let's hang out and let go. Said it's a place we can all go. When we jump into that flow, you know it's called the Let Go. Let's hang out and let go, 'cause it's a place we can all go. I'll jump right into that flow. You know it's called the Let Go. Said it's called the Let Go. Well, it's called the Let Go, let go, let go.